My name is Michael Cups, and I'm going to be the host today. And I'm excited to have a guest, Daniel Willems, here with me. And before we get there, I just want to remind everybody that Time Bandit is a book that's available on Amazon, an app coming out soon. It's about focusing on your priorities and habit tracking to get the most out of what you're going to tackle this week. So, Daniel, welcome. You've got so many things going on. I think I'm just going to pass the introduction over to you.
Wow. Well, thank you for having me. I'm definitely excited about being here. Yeah, I've got a lot going on. We're doing a startup. We've got a startup that we're still supporting, and then I'm also have a dev shop that I spend a little bit of my time in. Got a team there that I'm managing client work as well. So, and then that's the work life. I don't want to just say work life, but family, all the other things that go into being human, right?
Yes, and fun trips coming ahead of you.
Fun trips, yeah. Africa, yeah. Going to Tanzania.
Excellent. Well, let's just dive right into the core of what we do here on Time Bandit and 10, and talk first about your time wasters. Is there a time waster that just drives you crazy out there?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot. I would say if I narrowed it down though to two, the first one would be just moving between tasks. So I'm sure you know this, maybe it's in your book, but like if you get a notification to break away from deep work, it can take 23 minutes, I think, on average to get back into what you're doing. So it's like somebody sends you a Slack text, quick message. Hey, I got a quick message for you. No rush. For no rush is cool, but it breaks you away from deep software work, perhaps, or deep knowledge work or thought work or whatever you're writing. So that's one of those things that's really hard to juggle, to be available to a team, to a client, but that at the same time not get pulled away from the actual work you do on a daily basis. So that's one for me. And then I think the other one is just being in this like remote first world, showing that your little green dot is on Slack is like, I mean, I worked at a company where that was important. People would say, well, I haven't seen his green dot on Slack or this messaging app all day. So like, what was he doing? Yeah. And it's like, the response is he was probably writing software. That's what we pay him to do. Right. So I think that's probably like the big, I would guess, time wasters as far as wanting to be available, but at the same time, not being too available because then you can't get crap done.
Yeah, and you just nailed it. I think I did address that as one of the time wasters, especially digital notifications. They're everywhere now. I mean, if you think about email, Slack, text, even notifications in LinkedIn and things like that, if you don't figure out a way to kind of manage that, it can drive you crazy. But more importantly, like you said, to get yourself back into the deep work where you were is 22, 23 minutes. So yeah. So what about time saving tips or time management practices that you employ that have just been good for you?
Oh man, this is something like I wish I got to get better at, honestly. Like I'm not going to be the expert here, but I can tell you the things that have worked for me. So I use this notebook actually to set goals for myself for the week. I mean, I have like the longer term goals, but my weekly goals. And the reason I've done that is I have two groups. So I have like my non-negotiable group and I have my goals that I would like to get done. And the reason that I've done that is because my non-negotiables are like, obviously they're non-negotiable. They're things that I need to do, whether it's family work, actual work, all of these things that I know that I need to finish. And, some people say if you reach all of your goals, then you didn't set enough. You didn't reach far enough. But for me, if I set these non-negotiables, those are like things that I know I'm going to do. I have to do those. And then I'll have my second group of goals, which would be things that I would like to do. If I don't finish them all, it's not the end of the world. Some things I can maybe move to next week, or maybe they weren't that important to begin with. And so that's been one good thing for me. And then as far as like the deep work, not being notified, I need to get better about this, honestly, but like setting aside blocks to say these 2 hours I'm doing work. And if you reach out to me, you will not get a response, so that the team doesn't think, I'm off playing golf. I'm actually getting work done. So those are
And sometimes it's just that notification of you telling others that you need to focus, and most people will understand and respect that, and they appreciate it, and that alert notification. The interesting thing you said about the non-negotiable goals and then the goals, the other goals I would consider priorities, and we talk about it in the book. It's about how to schedule and delegate and things like that, and that's all cool. The interesting one are the non-negotiable goals that you mentioned to me. I started to practice right around the 1st of December, and I call it my hierarchy of values, and I just go visit those hierarchy of values, or HOV, every day. And I think the first 2 or 3 are, the first 3 are family and or my own life balance, and then number 4 and 5 are about kind of work. But it's the combination of those, and just kind of regrounding yourself every day. Read those real quickly, even though I could probably cite them to you because I read them every day. But there's just that thought about just putting your mind on them for a minute, and then you kind of internalize that. So anyway, that I think that's what you're doing with your non-negotiable goals as well.
Can I ask you though, because like I want to pick your brain a little bit. Is it something that you do daily then? Is that like you'll revisit daily for your goals? Okay.
Yeah, I've got them written down in a notebook, and I just try to open them up and just read through them every morning. It's just a pause to make me think about kind of what's really important for me, you know.
Yeah.
And they're broad enough. It's not like, you know, call Barbara or whoever, you know. It's more that kind of just the values that I want to live by. So yeah.
I had something I want to bring up. You made me think about it, which is letting other people know, just not just your team, especially when it comes to client-based work.
Yeah.
I make it a habit of not just responding to calls, and I want to be available to my clients, but it's like, I hope I'm not going to be doing this solo, but I see it. Okay. I see you froze for a minute. That if my clients reach out to me and they have like, hey, I want to pick your brain, I've got a feature I want to discuss, early on in that relationship, it's like, hey, we need to set meetings for this. We can't just you can't just reach out to me and say, hey, I wanted to discuss something.
Yeah.
Like that is meant for burning fires. The site is down. Like, yes, I will be available for that, but I can't be available for, hey, can we discuss a new feature? Because again, a quick question is not a quick question ever.
Oh, absolutely. It's usually surrounded with discussion and opinions and stuff.
Yeah.
Right. Well, so you've got a lot going on as we started, and we talked about you've got an active startup, you've got another startup that you kind of have in, I don't know what you call it, maintenance mode, or just continue to evolve.
Supporting
and then
clients,
you have your dev company. So in there's a lot of areas where you could defocus, or you could prioritize, or you could and also talk a little bit about how you help prioritize for your team members as well.
Yeah, I mean, that really just comes down to having a great team. And I know that's like the easy answer, but finding teammates that are willing to be, can be autonomous and that you can trust them. I mean, that's like, I think that's 90% of it is having that. Setting clear, defined expectations is probably the next important thing. So especially with my dev work, I'm not that involved with it day to day. I deal with the client. They have questions for me. They have new feature requests. We get on a call. I establish those for the team. I make sure that they get those done. But they're really kind of free flowing on their own with their time to get it done. If they want to work in the middle of the night, I don't care. And some of them are in different time zones, so it's just the way it works. But then they'll give me that I do a code review of their work and I deploy it. But it's kind of like there needs to be a lot of flexibility in those sort of teams, especially with dev teams, to be able to say, hey, you work on your time, when's best for you. I trust that you're going to do it. And the largest piece of it is really just picking the right team to do that with. Yeah.
And they know the end date. So it's just about a matter of time for them to manage that and deliver. So that's great. So why don't I try to keep these right around 10 minutes. It always feels too short, you know.
It would feel wrong if you went over, I think. Like Time Bandits, if you went too far over, it would just diminish the whole show.
Credit me. Thanks for the setup. So Daniel, why don't you talk a little bit about your startups? I'm actually a customer, and I love what you guys are doing. Why don't I give you a few minutes to talk about that?
I mean, I can really, because we are maintaining the other products, I can really talk about the newer product, Fist Bump, which we've been doing for the last year. Really two main pillars, and really the one we're focusing on right now is AI for SMBs, businesses that really aren't in the position to hire an AI expert full-time, because those are expensive. They're especially getting expensive with the need for them right now. And a lot of these companies don't have the skill set in-house to say, let's figure this out. So we're offering that in between where we're able to solve that problem for you for a fraction of the cost of hiring an in-house person to do it. So the idea would be you can come in, set up, we're calling your company AIQ. We'll help you set up that knowledge base, and then you'll be able to get outputs from it, whether it's analysis reports, competitor analysis reports, SWOT reports, those sort of things. And then our team, you'll basically ask our team for those in a very basic way. And then our team will do the deep work, the AI work, the pretty it up work to present back to you. And so for you, it's just getting the outputs you need and not putting in the effort of saying, let me go figure out AI, because we're going to do that for you. And the big thing is we're going to keep you up to speed with what's going on. So you don't have to constantly watching videos and podcasts and making sure that you know what the latest AI trends are. We're just going to deliver that for you. So it's more of a solution that we solve that problem for you.
Yeah, yeah, and
The AI problem.
It is a great service because I think we all are fascinated with AI. Well, not everybody. Some of us are. Some people are scared, but it's fascinating. But you could get down, just like we were talking about time wasters. You could just lose yourself. And what I like about your service is that you are doing that. I don't have to become a prompt master, right?
Sure.
So,
yep, that's the big thing for sure.
Yeah, so it's great. So how do they find the company, and how do they find you if they want to talk to you?
Right here. Well, I shouldn't say right here because we might be streaming other places. I'm on LinkedIn usually around this time between 8 and 10. And that's kind of like my window of posting and posting, engaging. And that's the other piece of Fist Bump. We don't even need to go into, but like that engagement piece of keeping yourself honest and structured. And you're not just on here goofing off, but you're doing actual business tasks to accomplish something. So that was a long answer to where you can find me. LinkedIn, just reach out to me. Let me know you saw me on the show. I'm happy to connect with you and talk more. But
that's great.
That's the main place to find me right now is LinkedIn.
And if they're interested in Fist Bump, is there a URL, or just find that on LinkedIn as well?
You can find it through my profile, but otherwise it's getfistbumps.com and then also fistbumpaiq.com. Either one of those will get them to our site.
Excellent. Well, thank you for sharing with us today. I really appreciate it. I wish you enjoyed the trip to Tanzania. It sounds like a fascinating trip.
We're
do
excited.
Take your time away from the work and try to enjoy the experience. So that's great. For all those listening and watching, please do go to Amazon and look for the book Time Bandit. We do have an app coming out soon on both Apple and Google, or Android, I should say. And we look forward to that. If you're interested in learning more, just drop me a note and I'll keep you up to date. But thanks, everybody. Have a wonderful day. And thank you, Daniel. Take care.
Yeah, thank you so much. See you.